Alright, this is going to be another session in your Parscore training. In this session I want to show you how to key an exam and give the exam to your students, as well as run the exam through the Parscore system. First, you're going to need your exam key, as well as however many you need for your students to do their test. In order to make sure that everything runs through the system quickly, efficiently, there's some very specific details that you want to make sure you instruct your students on each time you give an exam. The first thing you want to have them do is fill out this section here in the top right hand corner once it's in landscape. But you'll notice that I've put a few letters here: month, month, day, day, year, year, and the last four of their SOCH. So if somebody's birthday was January 11th, 1962, that's how you'd fill it out. You can start with a 0 and you run across just to date month, to date day, to date year, last four of their SOCH. And the important part is that they actually bubble in those accurately. The computer can't read the writing, it's just the bubbles that the computer looks at. We don't need their phone number. And then we want them to, this person's name is fake student. And again, last name first, then first name afterwards with a space in between, and it's important that they bubble in their name correctly. Then I encourage them to move my finger over here. Still write in your name, that's perfectly fine, the class and all that information. And then if you have multiple exams forms, they can bubble in A through D. A, B, C, D, they can bubble in. And then they take their exam and they bubble in their entry points here for their exam questions, multiple choice. Now if you have essay or math or whatever else, or multiple choice that goes beyond A through E, you may have to utilize the back of the Scantron for those testing purposes. So I just have students, number the exam question, 66, 67, 68, 69, and then they have to write in those answers, and I have to grade those manually. Once you grade them, say there's 5 options here as a multiple choice that, or math or essay or whatever. There's 5 options or 5 test questions there. Then you grade it, and in the front section here it says subjective score. This individual would have gotten 1 out of 5 on that. So they answered 4 incorrectly, they'd answered 1 correctly, and you put in the correct number in that subjective score. And then you also have to bubble that in, wrong way here. You have to bubble that in so the computer can read those points, and that will tally those subjective points as well into the student's overall score. And that's how students are to fill that out. That's how you're to fill out the subjective scoring on your exams. As far as bubbling in a test key, if I were to do this on a sheet, this is the same one I just showed you, but you also are going to fill out on the same Scantron form. You don't need to put in a student ID, you don't need to put in a name, you don't need to, you can write test key, immuno, neuro, endo, whatever, okay? You do need to fill out the test form, the test key that you're filling out. So if you have 3 different forms, you're going to fill out the proper form, and then you're going to bubble in the correct number, correct bubble for each of the test options, as well as the subjective score. And you notice this is the student exam I just showed you, but for that same example, that same scenario, they had 5 test questions that were going to be subjectively scored. You would put in a 5 here and bubble in 005. So that way when you run the key, it actually acknowledges that there are 5 subjective test points that are going to be scored by the students. And then you're done with the key as far as this piece of paper goes. And that's how to bubble a key. That's how the students are to be instructed to bubble their exam test bank or test questions and bubble in their answer keys. And that's it. Thank you for that tutorial.